This is Ian Lamont, founder of EasyGenie Genealogy Charts and Forms. Today I'm going to show you the two go-to free genealogy records on FamilySearch to determine a male ancestor's wife's name. If this video helps, please like it and follow me. Let's get started. So we're on FamilySearch, and we're going to be searching for James J. Walsh. And let me show you my family tree software, and you can kind of see the problem that I'm dealing with. I know the parents' names, but I don't know anything about Jack's wife. I don't even know if he was married, but I'm hoping that FamilySearch can help me narrow down the possibilities, basically by using two different records to determine the name. So I know that he was born in Newfane, New York, and then I know he was born around 1893. So I already have that information, but I don't know anything else about the spouse, or even if he had a spouse. So let's see what comes up. And basically, the first type of record that I recommend people look at, just to determine the first name of the spouse and sometimes the last name, is Census Records. So when you come to this particular page, basically click on Censuses and Lists, and then you can really narrow things down. So for instance, going down the list here, if I knew that he was born in, New York, but then he ended up going to New Jersey, I might look at the New York State Census. And it says here, for instance, that there's a bunch of people who were born in New York, but they ended up in New Jersey, and you can see the records where they were. So this person, this might be an actual hit. So let's say I think it might be this particular person. Let's ignore the fact that the name Richard is used there. So you can look at the records, and then you can take a look and see if it matches anybody. So it's not really clear if this is the spouse, Mary E. or Mary U. Walsh. So let's actually look at the census return. This is a New York State Census for 1915. So if he was born in 1893, he'd be 22 years old at this point. So that's feasibly could be the right person. So I'm going to zoom in and see if I can find him. Unfortunately, the writing is really bad. So let's go down here. Okay. So Walsh, Mary C., 1865. So this looks like it's the mother. And it looks like Richard is still living at home. So I might have to go back to my results and keep on filtering them more. So let's say that I think he was still in New York at the time. So I could look at the New York State Census, maybe for 1925, and let's see if he shows up there. I could also look at the federal census as well. So James J. Walsh. I don't see anyone. I see a James L. Walsh. Oh, this could be the person. Newfane. So let's take a look. So maybe there's a bit of a mistranscription there, even though his last name isn't, his middle name isn't an L. It's a J. Okay, so it's going to make me go to Ancestry, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to pay any money for it. But basically what I would do is I would go through all of the census records, especially the United States Census, because I think that could be the most helpful thing. Like, let's take a look at the 1940 census. James J. Walsh, 1940. And this is easier to browse through because you can see if they're actually married. So let's say that I think it's this guy right here. So let's take a look. 1940 census. He's living in Brooklyn. And you can see that you actually have the first name, the wife, 39 years old. So she was born in, let's see, that would be 1901. So it could be Catherine. And what I would do is I'd zoom in to take a look at the original record to see if I can determine any more information. Another reason, even though the index shows the first name, another reason why it's really useful to actually look at the actual record itself is because sometimes other relatives show up. And from the other relatives, you can determine if that was actually the maiden name of the wife. So you can see James Walsh, Catherine. You can see this information, and then you could go through. There's different columns for different things, and this can help you narrow things down. But at least we have the name Catherine. One time I looked at the 1850 census for an ancestor, and it actually showed the mother-in-law was living with them, and the mother-in-law, her maiden name was shown, so I could determine the maiden name of the wife. Now, if the census isn't working out, or maybe you only find the first name, like Catherine, and you want to find out more information, the second go-to record to look for is actually the marriage record itself. Now, marriage records, it's not guaranteed you can find it. This is particularly true before statutory records were introduced. So in New York, for instance, that is before, I think, 1880. So if your ancestor was married before 1880, you may not find a state record for it, but you may find a religious record. So you can try to determine If you can find a marriage record that shows the maiden name of the wife. So what I would be doing here, I'd be looking through the marriage records. So I know that he stayed in New York. So I would keep on scrolling down until I find New York marriage records. So New York marriages, 1686 to 1980. There's 9 records. So let's take a look and see if we can find something. So James L. Walsh. This is, again, this looks like it could be the right person. So let's assume that I think that this is a hit. What I would do is I would click on James L. Walsh. I'd look at the information in the index first. So they give some great information, including the first name and the last name of the wife, as well as the middle initial, and the names of the parents too. So that's really gold information, including the wife's mother's maiden name, Ritz. So I would click through to the index. The record may have come up from this image, but it could be slightly off. You may need to look through several surrounding images if it does not appear on this image. I don't know what that's about, but basically open it up and take a look. So I'm going to scroll through this. I'm going to zoom in to see if I can determine any more information. So let's find my Walsh here. I don't see it there. Yeah, it looks like it's not showing up. So this, I may have to go to the next page to take a look at it. But let's say that I thought it was this record right here. This information is gold. You can not only find the name of the spouse, so Anna Ohat or Chat, I'm not really sure about that, but you can see the name of the father, the name of the mother, where they were born, Poland, if they have an occupation, none, their age, if they were divorced or widowed before. So this is really useful information for determining the wife's name of a male ancestor, is to find the marriage record if you can. A well-done statutory register or an actual certificate of marriage, those are the best. But sometimes you may have to settle for just a very simple record that's in a ledger. It may be in some sort of religious marriage document from before the early part of the 1800s or even older than that. But that's really how you can determine things, is by using, first of all, the census to determine the first name, and then sometimes using a marriage record, if you can find it, to determine other information about the wife's family. If this record helped out, please take a moment to like it and follow me, and I'll see you next time.